Good afternoon. We're on the lookout for match-winning goals or equalising goals. We're going to chart the closing stages of all today's football matches. Gavin Peacock, Carlton Palmer and Garth Crooks are watching the closing stages of 6 Barclays Premier League games that rather boringly are being played in England. We'll hear their opinions in a moment or two. One Premier League result already in, Aston Villa 4, Newcastle 1. More details on the way, but let's go right up to date with the matches in progress. At Goodison Park, 4th place Everton playing Reading, who kicked off having lost 6 successive matches. Ivan Gaskell reporting.
It's 1-0 to Everton, over the hour mark now. A disappointing game, this one, which might just leave Reading particularly down in the mouth after a decent hour's work. They've just conceded goal number 53 of a difficult sort of season. It was Phil Jagielka who reacted quickly as Osman lobbed the ball over the Reading defence, who were slow to come out from a corner. 1-0 Everton lead.
Third bottom in League One, Port Vale trailing to a goal scored by Joe Gardner in 62 minutes. Port Vale 0, Carlisle 1. Back to the Barclays Premier League. 4-game unbeaten run has put distance between Middlesbrough and the relegation places. They're playing second bottom Fulham, who haven't won away from home in 29 matches. Alan Biggs is watching the game at the Riverside.
Those sequences could continue, Ray. It's Middlesbrough 1, Fulham 0, and the side still divided by Jeremy Aliadi's early goal. Just 10 minutes on the clock for that one. Fine finish from Ali Adidier, stealing into a marginal onside position. Fulham shouldn't have let him, but their feeble start has been replaced by something more solid. The game in the balance with Brian McBride now off the bench for Fulham, and also in action for Middlesbrough, their £12 million club record signing Alfonso Alves, yet to figure really in the game, but he's on as substitute. Borough lead 1-0.
Sunderland and Wigan were 5th and 6th bottom respectively when the game at the Stadium of Light kicked off. Steve Sutton reporting.
Yes, Ray, hugely important for both sides. Sunderland lead by a goal to nil. Dixon had 2, who were thundering headed just before half-time. But in this second half, Dean Whitehead has cleared off the Sunderland line from a Michael Brown effort, and Emil Heskey has hit the bar for Wigan. But at the moment, it's Sunderland 1, Wigan 0.
Accrington Stanley have lost the last 4 in League Two. They've equalised their way at Chester City, 2-2 the score. West Ham trying to climb near a UEFA Cup place. Third bottom Birmingham trying to climb out of the relegation places in the Barclays Premier League. Tony Lockwood's at Upton Park.
West Ham 1, Birmingham 1, midway point of the second half. Alan Kirbish's side exploded out of the blocks. Ahead when Freddie Ljungberg thumped home the opening goal from close range, but they couldn't add to it. Lucas Neal conceded a penalty, and James McFadden stepped up to claim his first Birmingham City goal. The second half has failed to match the first. 1-1 at Upton Park.
Avoiding relegation, impossible for bottom of the table Derby County, it would appear. Tottenham have work to do to move into the top half of the table. Roger Johnson reporting.
It's Derby 0, Tottenham 0. Good game though. Giles Barnes missed the best opportunity of the match before half-time when clean through as Derby seek their first win of Paul Jewell's reign. Tottenham are threatened constantly. Roy Carroll saving particularly well from Huddleston and Kabul, and they've recently introduced Berbatov from the bench. Can he make the difference? 0-0.
We will see. 1 defeat in 5 has taken Bolton away from the relegation places. They don't want to slip back towards them. Opponents Portsmouth fighting for a UEFA Cup spot. Richard Askham reporting.
0-0 as well here, Ray. Bolton have had a handful of good chances. Pompey old boy Matty Taylor missing from 4 yards in the first half and not much further out this half. Using the traditional Kevin Davies battering round, the home side have dominated. Davies himself has gone close more than once. Portsmouth really haven't got going at all and are still to register their first shot on target.
Developments in the Derby-Tottenham game. Back to Roger Johnson.
It's Derby 0, Tottenham 1. It's not Berbatov who's made the difference, but Robbie Keane. Derby's defenders are protesting. They felt Berbatov may have been offside. He wasn't interfering according to the referee as Steed Mulbronk picked up possession on the left edge of the box. Cut back onto his right foot, shot goalwards. Carroll got down and parried but couldn't hold, and Keane tapped in. Derby 0, Tottenham 1.
What's your verdict, Garth?
Well, I thought that Carroll, perhaps when he spilt it, I think he's got a good hand on it. And, OK, his defenders have not helped him out. The 2 defenders are next to him. Keane's got there before the 2 defenders.
What's jumped off the screen so far this afternoon for you, Carlton?
Oh, well, all the games have been pretty tight. And, you know, I know some of the fans look and they see these games and they think that they're not entertaining. But it's great because at this point of the season, you've got Sunderland who are just narrowly beating Wigan. Wigan have hit the woodwork twice. You know, that's a big game. You've got Middlesbrough just one up against Fulham, who've played well. Everton have had a tough game at home against Reading, just the one up. And it's all great, entertaining football.
All good contests, aren't they?
It is. Sunderland-Wigan's a great game now. I mean, it's so open. And Wigan have hit the woodwork twice, had one cleared off the line. They've been turning the screw on Sunderland in the second half.
More details on the Aston Villa-Newcastle game now. Jonathan Pearce commentating the game for tonight's Match of the Day. Here's his match report. Lunchtime kick-off at Villa Park.
Aston Villa 4, Newcastle United 1. Kevin Keegan still awaiting his first victory, back in charge. Saw his side blown away in the second half after a perfect start. Michael Owen proving his critics wrong by heading Newcastle into a lead after just 4 minutes, although his header deflected in off Gareth Barry. At half-time, though, Martin O'Neill made changes after seeing his side out-battled by Newcastle. Harewood on, Gardner on, the game completely swung. Baumer levelled on 48 minutes with a shot deflected in off the right-back Habib Bey. Then a back header by Carew, 4 minutes later, gave Aston Villa a deserved lead. They were flying by this stage. When Newcastle failed to clear after 73 minutes, Carew nodded Aston Villa into a 3-1 lead, and his hat-trick was completed moments from time when Stephen Carr handled and the big Norwegian drove in past the substitute goalkeeper Harper on for the injured Gibbon. It summed up Newcastle's misery. Villa might have had a first-half penalty anyway, but that doesn't matter. Their second-half display was compelling. Newcastle's was deeply disturbing for Kevin Keegan and co. Villa 4, Newcastle United 1.
Newcastle in 12th place. They've conceded 15 goals in the last 5 matches. Aston Villa in 5th place. Let's go to Molineux. Steve May.
Very important goal in the Championship, Ray, for Stoke City. It's now Wolves 2, Stoke City 3. It's Leon Court, probably the best player on the field, putting in after a spectacular save from Hennessy, which forced the ball onto the crossbar. Stoke were 1-0 up in this game, then 2-1 down, and now they're 3-2 up.
Ipswich fighting chance to save their 15-game unbeaten record. Pulled a goal back at home to Watford. Robin Bailey.
They certainly had the goal scorer, Jonathan Walters, who profited after a terrific nod across the goal from Jason DeVos. Looks like he's going to have to limp out of this game. He's having been treated right now. But Ipswich are back in it. Walters has got them back in it with an 11th goal of the season for himself after Nathan Ellington had put Watford 2 up earlier in the half. It really is a terrific game now, but Watford is still on the attack and the better side. We'll see what happens.
Important goals being scored in League One. Doncaster taking the lead home to Bristol Rovers by 1-0. Doncaster won 7 out of 9, second in the table. Leeds have equalised away at Northampton. Vidi Printer confirming Stoke have taken a 3-2 lead. What about Newcastle's performance today, Garth?
Well, I thought, Keegan made the point that in the first half they did very well. They take the lead and they're going well. As soon as the opposition equalise, Villa equalise, their confidence takes a hit. And that's the way it's been for the first half of the season. They've got to get over that and come back.
What's your view, Carlton?
I didn't see it like that. I thought Newcastle did all right in the first half, but I thought Villa were inept. Martin O'Neill couldn't wait till half-time to get players off, make a few changes, and then second half, they absolutely run riot. And I don't care whether you want to play attacking football or not, you've got to get to the point where you stabilise the ship.
How are Newcastle going to plug their defence, Kevin?
Well, that's the problem for Kevin. I mean, it's difficult at the moment because the personnel aren't the ones that he wants in there. I think that everyone's been crying out for Newcastle to play attacking football. The fans, this is. So you get Kevin in place. You know what he brings. I've been in a team of his where he has turned it around. And funny enough, the first 3 players that he did sign was Barry Venison, John Beresford and Paul Bracewell, all defensive-minded players. So when he gets his own chance to work in the summer, I'm sure he will address that situation. Meanwhile, it's plug the gap to get to the end of the season.
Just one quick point, Ray, if I could. Those players are not available for Keegan at the moment, and he said, I ain't just going to buy players for buying sake, so he's waiting for the right player to come along.
To be fair, those three players are all 50 years of age by now, but never mind. To Ibrox, Ian Turner watching Rangers against Falkirk.
Plenty to play for here. Chris Boyd put Rangers in front with a free kick midway through the first half, but Falkirk have made their intentions clear in the second half. Defender Kenny Milne off, replaced by playmaker Russell Latipi, and since the former Ranger appeared, it's been much better from Falkirk. The referees waved away 2 good penalty claims from Falkirk, and the home fans starting to get a bit restless. 1 Falkirk 0.
Rangers going 7 points clear. Celtic play tomorrow. Another goal of the Stadium of Light. Steve Sutton.
Sunderland, it's Sunderland 2, Wigan Athletic 0, and the goal scorer Daryl Murphy. A beautiful cross to Murphy right across the length of the pitch from substitute Andy Reid, who just come on, and Murphy took the ball on, he advanced towards the goal, and he unleashed an absolute unstoppable shot into the top corner of the Wigan net. Sunderland 2, Wigan 0.
Oh, well, what a strike that is. That is
all I'm saying is there's a net there, or else they'll be looking for that ball halfway down Sunderland. I mean, it's a hell of a strike. He's cut inside and he's let fly it. It's completely against the run of players, Nick Gavin. I mean, Wigan have deserved something out of this game. Steve Bruce will be sat there. But what a massive result for Sunderland.
It's a compelling match to watch, Ray. I mean, he's down now in Sunderland's box. Wigan attacking again. Sunderland have hacked it clear. I mean, you just can't take your eyes off it.
Sunderland have won the last 3 at home. They've lost 1 of 8 at home, so the home form is starting to build to keep them safe.
Yeah, and then the confidence at home. I mean, we always say, isn't it, home form will keep you up inevitably if you are down the bottom there. And they're building confidence at home, and with a goal like this as well, the lift that it will give that team, and if they get this result, it is huge in a number of ways.
Let's just check on things in the Coca-Cola Championship. It's a fascinating afternoon. Barnsley playing the Championship leaders West Bromwich Albion. Harry Grayson.
Hey, this is a good game as well, Ray. Morrison's put West Brom back in this game after being totally outplayed in the first half, and they've had 2 more chances to equalise as well. Still 20 minutes left here as well.
So the Championship leaders are losing. Watford away at Ipswich. Ipswich trying to get into the playoff places. Watford trying to get an automatic promotion place and go top. Robin Bailey.
It's a terrific game. Ipswich 1, Watford 2. Ellington and Smith for Watford, and Jonathan Walters for Ipswich has got them back in this game. But Watford are still the better side. They have been showing all the professionalism, if you like, of time wasting. It's blatant time wasting by a lot of them, I'm afraid. And, well, if they are going to get in the Premier League, I don't like to see that, but that's what they're trying to do to preserve this wonderful away record they have. This could be their 10th away win at a place where Ipswich haven't lost for 11 months. And more time wasting, which is why the crowd hate it, but it's 2-1 to Watford, and they're preserving that lead.
Watford going top of the table. Bristol City right up there too. They're playing 4th bottom Sheffield Wednesday. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, and they're leading by 2 goals to 0. The scoreline's a fair reflection of this game. Bristol City have emerged from their stutter of recent weeks thanks to an early composed finish from Dele Adebola on his home debut, and fullback Bradley Orr, who surely put this game beyond the visitors just before the hour. That came just a moment after a great save from his goalkeeper Adriano Basso. Brian Laws reckons Wednesday needs 7 wins to be sure of survival. I'm afraid this isn't going to be one of them. Sheffield United Wednesday trailing by 2 goals to 0.
It's a cracking game at Molineux. 4th place Stoke playing Wolves. Steve May.
Well, it's still Wolves 2, Stoke City 3 at the moment. Ray, Stoke ahead for a very long period in the first half through an early goal by Delap. Wolves equalising late in the second half through Rob Edwards, and then going ahead very early in the second half through Keogh before Lawrence ended a one-on-one with Hennessy in the Wolves goal in the most emphatic way for the equaliser. Ricky Fuller has just come on after starting the game on the subs bench because of his international commitments, and it's made a heck of a difference because Leon Court has just made it 3-2.
8th place Hull have lost 1 in 8. They were 2 down at home to Blackpool. It's level at 2-2. James Mason.
It is. It's now Hull City 2, Blackpool 2. A cracking game in prospect, Ray. Hull clawing their way back into this game. Their equaliser coming on the 71st minute when Sam Ricketts' right-wing cross was forced home across the line. We're not sure if it's his goal or Dean Windas's. The crucial thing is it's 2-2.
Burnley going for the playoffs. Colchester bottom of the Championship. David Garrido's at Turf Moor.
Well, the crowd, the home crowd at least, frustrated by some dubious refereeing decisions, but the home side took the lead through 36-year-old Andrew Cole on loan from Sunderland, stabbing the ball home from close range after some typically, how can I put this, generous, I think, Colchester defending on his full Burnley debut. Johnny Jackson's deflected free kick pulling the visitors level. Right now, Burnley just about shading it on David Unsworth's 500th career appearance. Still 1 apiece, though.
I wouldn't mind betting Sheffield United fans are making their feelings known at Bramall Lane. Andrew James.
Yeah, very disappointing game for Sheffield United. Ray, Sheffield United 0, Scunthorpe 0. Scunthorpe down to 10 men from the opening moments. Grant McCann sent off by Rob Stiles for stamping on David Cotterill. But Scunthorpe have been by far the better side, although Sheffield United, having sent on the former Scunthorpe man Billy Sharp not so long ago, he's had a couple of chances to break the deadlock for United, but it'll be an injustice if Scunthorpe don't get anything from this game. It's 0-0.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They've been battered.
There's been a goal at the Reebok. Yeah. Bolton against Portsmouth. Who scored? Richard Askham.
Portsmouth have got it, Ray, well against the run of play. It's Diarra who's knocked it home for Portsmouth. Bit of a scramble, uncertainty in the box. Ricardo Garner could have cleared it for the home side. He didn't. Diarra pounced. He scored for Pompey, who have nicked this game.
A goal here, a goal there. Bolton look away from the relegation places. Suddenly results go against them. If they lose this or the results go a different way, they're suddenly near again.
If you're a Bolton fan, you'd be crying for this goal because the midfield player, I think it is Diarra, who spins the midfield player and starts to move. But then Bolton get themselves in all sorts of trouble, defensive player. The ball pops around like a pinball, and suddenly they latch onto it, Portsmouth, in the back of the net.
There's two managers I know who'll be sat at home tonight and thinking how we haven't got a result. Gary Megson and Steve Bruce. I mean, you know, brilliant for Sunderland, brilliant for Larry Redknapp, but they're two games that these two teams have not been in the game at all. Bolton have totally dominated this game. David James has made save after save, and Wigan have hit the woodwork twice, asked question after question, and...
Game's gone against them.
Yeah.
Let's go to St Mary's. Andy Barwell's watching the championship match between Southampton and Queen's Park Rangers.
Certainly an eventful match here. 3-1 to Queen's Park Rangers. Patrick Agyemang with 2 cool finishes means that Luigi Di Canio's side surely on the way to 3 more points. Southampton defender Jermaine Wright involved in both Agyemang goals. Earlier, the visitor skipper Martin Rowlands had cancelled out an opener for Southampton from Darren Powell. More bad news, though, for the home side. Down to 10 men. Straight red card for Josef Safri for a challenge on Agyemang. Southampton 1, Queen's Park Rangers 3.
Preston are moving out of the relegation places as things stand. Mark Bishop.
Still Preston 1, Coventry City 0. Don't let the scoreline fool you, though. Coventry have been bossing big chunks of this game. A great save from Lonergan denied Leon Best from a certain equaliser. Blues forward then should have scored in the first half. Still Sean St Ledger's close-range header, the deciding factor. Michael Hughes and Mifsud have come off the bench for Coventry, and they're causing a lot of trouble for the Preston back four, but it's still Preston 1, Coventry City 0.
Back to the Barclays Premier League. A goal in the Derby-Tottenham game. Roger Johnson reporting.
It's Derby 0, Tottenham 2 now. Yunus Kabul with the second goal for Tottenham. After Derby failed to clear their lines from a corner, Kabul had time to pick his spot from 12 yards out and beat Roy Carroll, who'd kept the scoreline down with a great save from Berbatov shortly before. Derby's resistance well and truly over now. Tottenham lead 2-0.
Derby have 9 points. Sunderland have the record of 15 as the lowest Premier League points total. Are Derby going to get 15?
They're struggling, big time. But this goal from 2 defenders are in the edge in the Derby box. The ball comes out, Ray, and Chimpondon does a nice little layoff to Kabul and a nice little skill on the edge of the box, and he buries it. It's a lovely finish.
All right, let's go to League One. Crewe in relegation trouble. Swansea running away with it. Jared Young.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray, there's been a much more positive approach from Crewe in this second half, and they've got a goal back as well. Eugene Bopp's corner was headed in by Alex skipper Julian Bidet. An exciting last 5 minutes in prospect. It's Crewe 1, Swansea 2.
Swansea had a good cushion on an automatic promotion place. Crewe tried to fashion an equaliser in the final minutes. League Two leaders are MK Dons, first against third. MK Dons against Rotherham, watched by Jackie Oatley.
And Danny Harrison has just scored the most spectacular equaliser for Rotherham, who've been pretty poor all afternoon. An absolutely superb equaliser as Kevin Gallen was almost through to add to his first goal in the first half, but the offside flag has gone off. It was a well-worked goal down the left-hand side for third place Rotherham. O'Grady with a cross into the centre, the layoff by Ryan Taylor, and Danny Harrison with a snapshot from 20 yards out, right-footed, rifled the ball into the top right-hand corner. Willie Garay could do nothing about it. I say it's been against the run of play because it's been a poor performance from Rotherham, and Lewington had another chance earlier on to put MK Dons 2-0 up, and as did Kevin Gallen, who scored the first goal in the first half. He had a tap-in from 1 yard out, and he only got a toe to the ball, and instead the goalkeeper, Andy Warrington, was able to pounce on it. But there was a stoppage of 6 minutes when Rotherham midfielder Stephen Brogan was carried off with what could have been a broken leg. He had an oxygen mask on his face and a leg in a splint. 1-1.
Let's hope for better news on that injury. To Glasgow, Rangers playing Falkirk. Ian Turner at Ibrox.
4 minutes left. Rangers still lead Falkirk by 1-0. That Chris Boyd goal in the first half. Rangers fans starting to drift away, but it's not because they think this game's over. It's because of the difficulties in leaving this ground. It's all Falkirk at the moment. A moment ago, Patrick Craig, a lovely turn-in shot in the 6-yard box just over the bar. Rangers hanging on now, but it's looking like 3 points.
And that would mean a 7-point lead at the top of the SPL. Celtic play tomorrow. Gretna, bottom of the SPL, away at Hearts. Brian McLaughlin reporting.
Hearts leading by 2-0, Ray, thanks to a first-half double from the club's top scorer, Andrzej Walishka. Gretna's task now even greater. They've been reduced to 10 men as Danny Hall received his second yellow card of the afternoon. But Hearts have dominated throughout. 2.5 minutes left for play here at Tynecastle. Hearts 2, Gretna 0.
Let's go back to Goodison Park. Everton trying to make sure they secure 4th place in the Barclays Premier League table. Ivan Gaskell.
It's still Everton 1, Reading 0. The time is running out for Reading. They've just gone very close in 2 successive opportunities within a minute. Jimmy Keeby almost capitalised on his appearance from the subs bench for Reading. His one-on-one effort, though, saved by Howard. Then James Harper scraped the outside of a post minutes later. And at the other end, well, Andy Johnson could have wrapped it up, but it hit the side netting. 1-0 Everton.
Are Fulham going to manage any sort of equaliser? Alan Biggs.
Doesn't look like it. Middlesbrough lead 1-0 and a really undignified scramble for victory for them. Their record signing Afonso Alves is on as substitute, looking a bit off the pace. Not surprising. He hasn't played for 5 weeks and he's being asked to see out this game as a lone striker because a really negative move by Gareth Southgate, the Middlesbrough manager. That's how I saw it. Taking off bringing on George Boateng for the goal scorer Jeremy Aliadier to see the game out, and this against the team who haven't won away for 29 games. Middlesbrough 1, Fulham 0.
Looks like Sunderland are going to put more distance between themselves and the relegation places. It's a cracking game at the Stadium of Light. Steve Sutton reporting.
It's Sunderland 2, Wigan 0, Ray. There's 4 minutes left on the clock, but there will be 2 or 3 minutes of stoppage time, so still time for Wigan to perhaps stage a grandstand finish here, and they are trying to pull things back. They've hit the woodwork twice in this half and had an effort cleared off the line, but Dixon had 2 who's header just before half-time, and then an absolute stunner from Daryl Murphy is the difference. Sunderland 2, Wigan 0.
The 3 northeastern clubs, 12th, 13th and 14th in the table as things stand. West Ham against Birmingham at Upton Park. Will there be late drama here? Tony Lockwood.
Just over 2 minutes of normal time remaining, and it is still West Ham 1, Birmingham 1. Mikel Forsell almost finding a way through. A yard on his marker, but his angled effort just rolling wide. And we have a red card to add to the drama. Referee Mark Clattenburg surrounded by Anton Ferdinand, Lucas Neal and Lee Bowyer. And Bowyer is making the march back towards the tunnel. And West Ham will finish with 10 men. A straight red for Bowyer. His disciplinary record is a poor one. One more dismissal to add to his long career. And it's 1-1.
Just looking at the replay, there's no argument, is there? Foot was up over the ball, reckless challenge. They're the rules.
No, I think it's harsh.
I think it's harsh.
I think looking at it first time,
it's a booking as well.
Let's be clear. The first tackle's come in. He's nothing to do with the first tackle. It's the second tackle. He comes in thereafter. And the ball's not even there. Now, I think it's a yellow card for me personally. I don't think it's a straight red.
Gavin, weren't both feet off the ground there?
Well, yeah, it looks a little bit reckless to me, to be honest.
No, only
because the referee's directive is if it is reckless and endangers the opposition and he comes in with his feet up, he's got to send him off. We might have said, a few years ago, it's a booking, but for the directive they've got now, players are going off.
I don't think it was dangerous.
I think that's
2 feet off the ground is a red card.
No, but it wasn't. 2 feet off the ground doesn't necessarily mean it's dangerous, Ray.
2 feet off the ground.
It doesn't necessarily mean it's dangerous. It's 2 feet off the ground, for sure.
I'll tell you what he did different to
Maybe we need to look at it again.
No, I'll tell you what he did different to other tackles like that. If you take Cavaliers sending off against Aston Villa, he jumped into a 2-footed tackle. In this one, he's gone to ground, he's slid, and he's lifted his leg up. And I don't think the intent was there. And me personally, I didn't see it as a red card.
Goal in the Crewe Swansea match. Swansea, the League One leaders. Jared Young.
And what a turnaround we have here at Gresty Road now, Ray. Can you believe it? Crewe have clawed their way back into this game with a 90th minute equaliser scored by the substitute Tom Pope, his 4th goal of the season. This could be an invaluable point for the home side. It's Crewe 2, Swansea 2.
Looks like Motherwell have scored a late winner at home to Kilmarnock in the SPL. David Clarkson, 90th minute, final minutes of the game. Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0. Full-time whistles, final whistle starting to sound all round the country. Meanwhile, let's go to Ibrox. Ian Turner.
Full time will be sounding here shortly, but Rangers have clinched the 3 points. Mistake by Darren Barr, the Falkirk defender. He was trying to dribble out of defence. He failed to do so. Stephen Naismith nipped in, took the ball, strode forward, slotted it into the corner. Rangers 2, Falkirk 0.
Rangers going 7 points clear at the top of the SPL. Let's hear about Championship leaders West Bromwich Albion away at Barnsley. Harry Gratian.
Still a good 5 minutes to go here. West Brom putting an awful lot of pressure on Barnsley. Morrison got them back into the game, but I have to say the Barnsley defence holding good at the moment. Goal kick 2-1.
So West Bromwich Albion making it a fight of it. Can they get an equaliser? Are Watford going top? They're away at Ipswich. Robin Bailey.
They are at the moment. They're still 2-1 up, and good for that, although they have been involved in some pretty horrible time wasting. There's 4 minutes of injury time because of all of that, and it's because Watford players, when they go down, they stay down whether they're injured or not. But they are holding on to this lead, and it is justified. They played terrifically well. Shitu and Bromby at the back have been brilliant, and Ipswich just cannot break through and get that equaliser. They are trying, but at the moment, Watford good for a win.
Ipswich fighting to maintain their 15-match unbeaten home record. Watford trying to go top of the table. Bristol City going to win and take 3 points and put Sheffield Wednesday in the bottom 3. Hamish Marshall.
Yeah, they're still leading by 2-0 Bristol City. Dele Adebola and Bradley Orr, the goal scorers, have got 2 minutes of normal time left. We'll probably have about 4 or 5 minutes of stoppage time. We've had a couple of lengthy injuries, but it really, no matter how long we play, I don't think Wednesday are going to get back into this. Bristol City leading 2-0.
Southend have beaten Hartlepool by 2-1. Goal at St Mary's, Andy Barwell.
Fantastic finish here. Maybe it's not all over. 4 minutes of stoppage time, and Stern John has just got a goal back for the 10 men of Southampton. It's all Southampton at the moment, but they're trailing Queen's Park Rangers 3-2.
Still time for them to save the day at St Mary's. To Molyneux, Steve May watching the Wolves-Stoke game.
Well, no time for Wolves to save it because Stoke have just got a 4th goal through Ricky Fuller, the substitute. I said he was making a big difference, and he's just put that ball in the back of the net after Wolves at the other end were claiming a penalty for an infringement. But Stoke have deserved this because when it's mattered in the second half, it was they that has fought the hardest in this match. Leon Court scrambled in the winner, what became the winner after Tony Pulis had brought on Fuller to make it, as I say, very much a different game. We've got about a minute left here. It's Wolves 2, Stoke 4.
2 points separate the top 4 in the Championship. To Ibrox, final whistle, Ian Turner.
Rangers 2, Falkirk 0. A dreadful error by Darren Barr. 2 minutes from time clinched this one for Rangers. Rangers substitute Stephen Naismith, who simply surged in and slotted the ball into the corner of the net. Chris Boyd had put Rangers in front with a well-struck free kick midway through the first half, but with time running out, Walter Smith's side were desperately hanging on before Barr's rush of blood ended the Bairns' hope of a point. Effective Rangers 7 points clear.
Rangers well top, Gretna well bottom. Brian McLaughlin.
They certainly are. It finished Hearts 2, Gretna 0. Andrzej Velishka with both goals in the first half. The first a terrific left foot drive into the roof of the net, his second from the penalty spot, and Velishka thought he had his hat-trick in the final minute when he netted, only to see the flag raised for offside. It's not good though for Gretna. Hearts 2, Gretna 0.
The final whistles are starting to go in the Barclays Premier League games. Middlesbrough unbeaten in 7 now. They've beaten Fulham by 1-0. Alan Biggs at the Riverside. Fulham 30 matches now away from home without a win.
It'll stretch longer on this performance, Ray. That's a depressing run from Fulham. It was a really humdrum game in which the early goal was the one clear highlight. Jeremy Ali-Adier's fine finish from Gary O'Neill's pass. Fulham flickered back into the game. Simon Davis and Danny Murphy coming close, but Middlesbrough just about bossed it without stamping any real authority. And manager Gareth Southgate shut the game up effectively by bringing on Boateng for Ali-Adier and leaving the rather off-the-pace Afonso Alves, the big signing, on as substitute as a lone striker for the last 15 minutes. Middlesbrough 1, Fulham 0.
Stoke have beaten Wolves by 4-2. Salt in the wound in the Derby-Tottenham match. Roger Johnson.
Yeah, Tottenham have a penalty in the third of 3 minutes of stoppage time here. A handball as Steed Malbranque burst into the penalty area, flicked the ball across, it hit a defender's arm, and Dimitar Berbatov, who's come on as a substitute here. Both the goals came since his introduction. Keane with the first, Kabul with the second, now Berbatov with the third as Tottenham beat Derby 3-0.
It was a cool penalty. Final whistle at Upton Park. West Ham Birmingham is all over. Tony Lockwood.
West Ham 1, Birmingham 1 for the opening quarter of an hour. West Ham threatened to run away with this. Freddie Ljungberg gave them an early lead. Carlton Cole with the assist. Birmingham found a way back when Lucas Neal conceded a spot kick, which James McFadden swept home. Forsell nearly won it for the visitors with an angled strike just wide. Lee Bowyer sent off by referee Mark Clattenburg for a reckless challenge. This at a valuable away point for Alex McLeish's side. West Ham 1, Birmingham 1.
And immediately to the Stadium of Light. Sunderland have won 4 home matches on the bounce. Wigan's away form, 6 points out of 42. It's a vital win for Sunderland. Steve Sutton.
It is Ray. Sunderland 2, Wigan 0, and impossible to overstate the significance of the points. A cautious, nervy first half, exploding into life on 41 minutes when Dean Whitehead whipped a free kick towards the far post and Dixon Etu, ghosting in behind the Wigan defence, thundered a header into the net. The second half continued where that left off, totally different, fast, furious, end-to-end. Whitehead scrambled off the Sunderland line. Wigan hit post and bar before substitute Andy Reeves across the field found Daryl Murphy, and he unleashed a 25-yarder into the top corner of the Wigan net. Steve Bruce might wonder why he got nothing out of this. I'm sure his old mate Roy Keane will be happy to explain it.
Let's go to the Reebok. A setback for Bolton, but Pompey are absolutely delighted. They'd only won 2 of the last 9, but they've won today. Richard Askham.
They have indeed, Ray. Bolton 0, Portsmouth 1. Portsmouth with a smash and grab raid at the Reebok. Diarra pouncing on a mistake from Ricardo Gardner to lash home. Before that, Bolton had enough chances to win 2 games. Pompey old boy Matty Taylor missed a couple of sitters. David James also made good saves to deny Davis, Raziak and brilliantly substitute Tamir Cohen. The home side unlucky, but Pompey won't care. They have a precious win to take back to the South Coast.
Final whistle's gone in the Derby-Tottenham game. Derby haven't managed to get into double figures yet this season as far as points are concerned. Roger Johnson.
It's finished Derby 0, Tottenham 3. All 3 goals in the last half hour from Keane, Berbatov and Keane, Kabul and a Berbatov penalty, delivering another body blow to Derby's rapidly diminishing hopes of survival and giving Spurs just their second away win of the season. All 3 came after that man Berbatov had come on from the bench. Derby never let their heads drop. Giles Barnes could have put them ahead before half-time, but he lacked the quality to finish. It rather sums up Derby's season. Tottenham have beaten them here 3-0.
And let's go to Goodison Park. Everton unbeaten in the Premier League in 2008, won 4, drawn 2. Reading have lost 7 on the bounce. Ivan Gaskell.
Yes, Everton 1, Reading 0, so Everton carry their 2008 unbeaten league run on to Valentine's Day, though precious little romance on view at Goodison Park. Instead, a gritty British bulldog of a contest. Reading industrious and eager. Everton below their best, but just good enough. Phil Jagielka ended the stalemate on the hour. A simple header as Leon Osman's lob wrong-footed Reading's defence. Keeby and Harper missed late Reading chances to rescue a point they probably deserve. Instead, it is 7 defeats in a row. Everton unconvincing, but unbreached. 1-0 winners here.
Reading fall into the relegation places. Situation in the Championship. The leaders West Bromwich Albion still playing away at Barnsley, trying to save the game. Harry Gratian.
There's still about a minute left here, Ray. They're putting everything they possibly can at the Barnsley defence, trying their best, but Barnsley holding firm, and a sigh of relief from the fans. They've got a free kick on the edge of their own penalty area.
Ipswich's unbeaten home record has been brought to an end. Robin Bailey's at Portman Road.
Ipswich 1, Watford 2. It was on the 10th of March 2007 when Ipswich last experienced defeat in a league match at home. Watford have broken that record. Goals from Tommy Smith and Nathan Ellington gave them an advantage. Ipswich couldn't claw back. Jonathan Walters got 1 for the home side, but Watford, with Bromby and Shitu imperious, sealed their 10th away win. Watford, some shameful time-wasting tactics aside, looked like a side destined for the Premier League.
Hull had to fight for a point today. James Mason.
Yes, Hull 2, Blackpool 2, Ray. This was a full-blooded and entertaining game in which Hull had to overturn 2 Paul Dickoff goals to earn a point. Substitute Caleb Folham provided the spark with his goal on the hour mark before Sam Ricketts' cross was bundled over the line 10 minutes later, possibly by Dean Windass, we're not sure. Blackpool's Casper Gorse was sent off late on, but they held on. It ended Hull 2, Blackpool 2.
Let's get back to Oakville. Barnsley playing West Bromwich Albion. Albion kicking off top of the Championship. It's finished, I think, Harry Grayson.
No, it hasn't. It's still going on, Ray. We're in the last seconds of the game, and a pretty heavy tackle coming in there on the far side of the field, which will give Barnsley a bit of relief here. They still lead, though, Ray, 2-1.
So, all the results are just about in. Here's Tim Gudgeon to confirm all today's final scores.
Kick-off with the Barclays Premier League. Aston Villa 4, Newcastle United 1. Bolton Wanderers 0, Portsmouth 1. Derby County 0, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Everton 1, Reading 0. Middlesbrough 1, Fulham 0. Sunderland 2, Wigan Athletic 0. West Ham United 1, Birmingham City 1. In the Coca-Cola Championship, latest Barnsley 2, West Bromwich Albion 1 and Bristol City 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Burnley 1, Colchester United 1, Cardiff City 1, Norwich City 2, Hull City 2, Blackpool 2, Ipswich Town 1, Watford 2, Leicester City and Plymouth Argyle have an evening kick-off shortly, Preston North End 1, Coventry City 0, Sheffield United 0, Scunthorpe United 0, Southampton 2, Queen's Park Rangers 3, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2, Stoke City 4. In the Coca-Cola League 1, Cheltenham Town 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Crewe Alexandra 2, Swansea City 2. Doncaster Rovers 1, Bristol Rovers 0 is the latest score. Huddersfield Town 1, Swindon Town 0. Luton Town 1, Bournemouth 4 is the latest. Northampton Town 1, Leeds United 1. Nottingham Forest 2, Millwall 0. Oldham Athletic 2, Gillingham 1 is the latest, as Port Vales 1, Carlisle United 1 is also. Southend United 2, Hartlepool United 1. Tranmere Rovers 1, Leyton Orient 1. Walsall 2, Yeovil Town 0, a latest. In League 2, Bradford City 1, Bury 2. Brentford 1, Shrewsbury Town, latest score. Chester City 2, Accrington Stanley 3. Darlington 1, Barnet 0. Grimsby Town 4, Chesterfield 2. Hereford United 4, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Lincoln City 2, Rochdale 1. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Rotherham United 1 is the latest. Morecambe 0, Macclesfield Town 1. Peterborough United 0, Wrexham 0, that's the latest. Stockport County 1, Notts County 1. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Mansfield Town 2. In the Blue Square Premier, Cambridge United and Stevenage Borough have an evening kick-off. Droylsden 0, Altrincham 2. Ebbsfleet United 1, Exeter City 1. Farnsley Celtic 1, Aldershot Town 3. Northwich Victoria 0, Salisbury 1. Oxford United 3, Histon 0, that's the latest. Rushton and Diamonds 2, Halifax Town 2. Stafford Rangers 2, Weymouth 1. Torquay United 1, Kidderminster Harriers 0, that's the latest. Woking 2, Burton Albion 1. York City 2, Grays Athletic 0. In the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League, Dundee United 1, Hibernian 1. Hearts 2, Gretna 0. Motherwell 1, Kilmarnock 0. Rangers 2, Falkirk 0. St Mirren 1, Inverness Caledonian Thistle 1. Ernbrew Scottish Division 1, Hamilton Academical 3, Dunfermline Athletic 0. Livingston 1, Dundee 1. Morton 1, Clyde 2. Queen of the South 3, St Johnstone 1. Stirling Albion 1, Partick Thistle 0. Scottish Div 2, Ayr United 0, Peterhead 3. Brechin City 3, Raith Rovers 2. Cowdenbeath 0, Airdrie United 1. Queen's Park 3, Berwick Rangers 1. Ross County 6, Alloa Athletic 1. And Scottish Div 3, Albion Rovers 0, Forfar Athletic 0. East Fife 0, Stenhousemuir 1. East Stirling 0, Arbroath 1. Montrose 3, Dumbarton 1. Stranraer 0, Elgin City 0. In the Welsh Premier, Casus 1, Bangor City 0. Haverfordwest 5, Llangefni Town 1. Llanelli 5, Carnarvon 1. Neath 2, Newtown 0. The New Saints FC 0, Carmarthen 3.
Quite a few late kickoffs today, and we don't seem to be able to bring them to you at the moment. We'll do that as soon as is possible. Plenty of debate and discussion in the light of those results on the way. Gavin Peacock, Carlton Palmer and Garth Crooks will offer their opinions on all today's performances after we've looked at the updated league tables. Here's the Barclays Premier League. None of the top three in action today, but Everton strengthened their claims to the fourth Champions League place with a home win. Villa's biggest win of the season moves them ahead of Liverpool, who play tomorrow. Portsmouth are the other winners in the top half. Then at the bottom of the Barclays Premier League, Derby's plight looks increasingly desperate. Following another defeat, Fulham's wretched away form leaves them 3 points from safety, while Reading slide into the bottom three, having lost for the 7th game in a row. A point for Birmingham moves them up a place, but Sunderland are the main beneficiaries of today's results. They're now 14th and 4 points clear of danger. There's the Coca-Cola Championship table. Watford are the new leaders. They beat Ipswich 2-1 at Portman Road, hand the Tractor Boys their first home defeat of the season. West Bromwich Albion lose 2-1 at Barnsley, their second away defeat in succession to fall to second place. Bristol City and Stoke City both win to keep the pressure on the top two. Just 2 points separate the top four. Elsewhere, Norwich City, who were bottom when Glen Roeder took charge, are now in the top half of the table, just 4 points off a playoff place. Colchester United remain bottom despite a 1-1 draw at Burnley, now 5 points from safety. Scunthorpe United drew 0-0 at Sheffield United but remain deep in trouble. Sheffield Wednesday slip into the bottom three after the defeat at Bristol City. Preston North End move above the trapdoor with a 1-0 victory over fellow strugglers Coventry City. Let's take a look at the Clydesdale Bank Scottish Premier League. Rangers have opened up a 7-point lead over old-firm rivals Celtic, who visit Aberdeen tomorrow. Dundee United were held to a draw, allowing Motherwell to close to within a point of third place. Gretna remain 9 points adrift at the bottom. Both they and Kilmarnock lost. Let's take a look at the Iron Brew Scottish Division 1 table. Hamilton strengthened their grip at the top with their 16th win of the season. Dundee dropped points on their travels to allow a 7-point gap to open up. At the bottom, Stirling Albion win for only the third time this season, but to do so, the nearest rivals Clyde, who move above Morton into 8th. Well, that's how the tables stand. Post-match reaction to come. The League One and League Two tables on the way very soon. After this summary of the top football stories of the day. Sluice with his first Villa hat-trick to leave Newcastle still seeking a win under Kevin Keegan. Villa move up to 5th. Everton maintain their push for Champions League qualification, but Jagielka's goal condemns Reading to a 7th straight defeat, putting them in the bottom three. It's 4 home wins on the spin for Sunderland. Dixon Atuhu scores his first goal for the club, and Daryl Murphy adds another with the goal of the day. It's 2 goals in 3 games for Ali Adair, as Fulham suffer another away day nightmare. It's now 30 matches since they won on the road. Diarra is in his pomp for Portsmouth. The in-form midfielder scores the only goal to end Bolton's resistance. It's 3 and easy for Tottenham, as they earn only their 2nd away win of the season. At Derby, Robbie Keane sets Spurs on the way. James McFadden rescued a precious point for Birmingham after Freddie Lundberg had fired West Ham ahead. And as ever, all the goals from all those games and all the major incidents, that'll be shown in tonight's Match of the Day, 10:20 start here on BBC One. So, quite an afternoon. Headline for you, Garth?
Headline for me, well, I thought that Lee Bowyer, there's an injustice there. I think Mark Clattenburg gets it terribly wrong. I don't think it's a sending off. The nation will decide tonight on Match of the Day. Bolton lose in a game that they should have got something out. Portsmouth, daylight robbery, and of course Wigan get nothing out of their game as well.
Everton consolidate the position in 4th place. Whatever Liverpool do tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, they've done well and Aston Villa have done their job. But it's interesting, apart from Derby today, all the teams at the bottom, Reading, Wigan, Fulham, Bolton and Birmingham, all showed something to suggest that they can get out of it. You know, all the managers will go home, like Stevie Bruce will go home tonight and say, well, we deserve something. Bolton deserved to have beaten Portsmouth. Reading made a fist of it at Goodison Park. Narrowly, Everton got home. So, you know, Fulham at Middlesbrough, narrowly again. So all of those managers will believe going down to the end that they can get out of it.
Gavin, Derby, Fulham, now Reading in the bottom 3. The relegation issue intensifies week in, week out. All the twists and turns. The mini-league we talk about is absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, and it's getting nervous times now, and Reading are dropping like a stone. But, it all adds it for us. I mean, Sunderland-Wigan today was an absolutely cracking game for two teams that are battling against the relegation situation. It was extremely open. I've got to say, for me, though, one of the highlights of the day is Villa's performance. And Martin O'Neill as well as a manager. You can't argue with him. I think tactically, his buys and the way that they're playing now, and they just move on.
Well, the lunchtime game, Aston Villa 4, Newcastle 1. A cracking performance by Aston Villa. Newcastle have now conceded 15 goals in their last 5 matches. Here's post-match reaction from Villa Park.
Well, he got off to the perfect start.
Yeah, I couldn't have asked for any more, really. You know, played, I think, very well for a team playing away from home. A team that hasn't had any very many good results in the last few weeks. We did everything right. You know, we battled, we scrapped when we had to, we competed when we had to. We got the goal. Michael did what Michael does best. He got a great goal. So we built a platform or a foundation on which to win a football match. Sadly, half-time came, and even I'm baffled to what happened second half. You know, the same 11 players going out, same numbers on the shirts, same people, but never really got going.
We made some changes in the second half. I thought we got a bit more drive and determination about ourselves, which was, lacking in the first half. Maybe it was still a hangover from last Sunday's defeat at Fulham. It shouldn't really be. We were hoping to get that out of our system. We were second in most of the play in the first half. I thought Newcastle deserved to be in front at half time. But there was a renewed determination about the side, and I thought we were absolutely fantastic second half.
Just explain the changes. What were the main differences?
No, we didn't, give the pace to the ball as we should have in the first half, and in the second half we do a couple of changes. We get especially Marlon in, who has a lot of power and a lot of pace and a lot of enthusiasm in his play, and he gave us an extra dimension in the second half, and we managed to really put pressure on them, and because of that we also started to create more chances, and in the end the goal came, so it was really great.
Obviously, we're aware of where we are in the league, and I think I knew when I took the job, I knew what fixtures were coming. I know all our games away from home are against top sides in the top half of the table. I knew all those things. Still took the job because I honestly believe that within this football club there's enough talent, to keep us in this division, and then to rebuild, around some of that talent. Not all of it, but around most of that talent. There's not a lot wrong with this football club. But those little things that are wrong need putting right quickly. And once we get all the little things right, the big things will take care of themselves, I'm sure of that.
Not much wrong. No win in 9, 3 points out of 27, conceded 15 in 5. Kevin's still looking for his first win. Villa Park, by the way, first win in 4, and they've lost 1 in 10. What's your reaction to what you're hearing from Kevin Keegan, Gavin?
Well, I would say I've been there before, Ray, when he's come into the club and turned it around. Division below that time, stayed up, and then it took off from there. So I know what Kevin can do, and I know how he will package something up. You can't argue with the fact that they've not had good results. They've let goals in for sure. Kevin will be well aware of that. What he would do is he will boost up people like Michael Owen, maybe over the top, but he knows that Michael is a match winner. And he knows that if he gets his confidence going, he'll win in matches on his own by maybe knocking in a hat-trick in the next game and getting points where maybe you don't think that they will.
Garth, what are your thoughts on this issue?
Well, I think to put it in context, I don't think Capello, Ferguson and Wenger, if they were all part of one team, could have done much difference to what Kevin Keegan's at the moment with the personnel he's got. To be fair to him, I think what he's going to do is he's going to buy his players wisely. He'll have to wait till someone to do that, but he's going to have to, with what he's got, try and bring as much out of them over the few weeks. And if there's development and there's confidence, I think they'll be all right.
Carlton, do you agree with this? Because it seems what Gavin and Garth are saying is that Sam Allardyce didn't have a decent squad of players there.
Well, Sam brought a lot of those players in.
But Gavin and Garth are questioning that they're the wrong players to get them out of trouble.
No, they're the wrong players for Kevin's style of play.
To do much more than he's doing at the
moment. For the way that
moment.
Kevin wants to play, they'll be the wrong bunch of players.
Yeah, but my argument is this. I mean, Capello's come in. He didn't play Michael Owen. He didn't start him. And there was a reason why about that. If Kevin Keegan thinks that he's going to play that way, I understand he needs time. I understand he needs to bring his own players in. If he's going to play that way with a 4-4-2 as open as that in the remaining games, they're only going to stay up for the mere fact that there's poorer teams in the division.
You seem to be saying there's no real cause for concern at Newcastle.
No, I didn't say that. I think that he needs to inject confidence, he needs to inject belief. That takes time because the personnel's not going to change. And the point I'm making is, whoever you bring in as manager, the personnel won't change. So you've got to do something with what you've got. And he is.
And what he does, publicly, he'll pick on the positives because confidence and belief is key, as Garth says. So publicly he'll say that, and privately he'll be trying to address those defensive problems on the training field. He's not a stupid man. You know, he's experienced and he's proven at what he's done.
But let's just, before we move on, do you see Newcastle climbing or falling lower in the table?
I would say Newcastle will finish around about where they are, mid-table.
Around about 12th, where they are now. Carlton?
Yeah, that's their lot.
That's
really
where they're going to be.
this season, yeah.
And think themselves very lucky that they do finish mid-table.
And now, there were a lot of late kick-offs today, so let's just go through the full League One and League Two results again with Tim Gudgeon.
OK, Ray, in League One, Cheltenham Town 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Crewe Alexandra 2, Swansea City 2. Doncaster Rovers 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Huddersfield Town 1, Swindon Town 0. Luton Town 1, Bournemouth 4. Northampton Town 1, Leeds United 1. Nottingham Forest 2, Millwall 0. Oldham Athletic 2, Gillingham 1. Port Vale 1, Carlisle United 1. Southend United 2, Hartlepool United 1. Tranmere Rovers 1, Leyton Orient 1. Walsall 2, Yeovil Town 0. And in League 2, Bradford City 1, Bury 2. Brentford 1, Shrewsbury Town 1. Chester City 2, Accrington Stanley 3. Darlington 1, Barnet 0. Grimsby Town 4, Chesterfield 2. Hereford United 4, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Lincoln City 2, Rochdale 1. Milton Keynes Dons 1, Rotherham United 1. Morecambe 0, Macclesfield Town 1. Peterborough United 0, Wrexham 0. Stockport County 1, Notts County 1. Wycombe Wanderers 1, Mansfield Town 2.
Right, let's look at the Coca-Cola League One table. Swansea were held to Crewe, but the Welsh side are 14 games unbeaten, 8 points clear at the top. Doncaster have narrowed the gap after beating Bristol Rovers, while Nottingham Forest had a group of 3 clubs on 49 points after earning their first win in 5 games. A draw for Port Vale can't prevent them from slipping to bottom, 9 points from safety. Bournemouth had dropped to the foot of the table on Thursday after being deducted 10 points for entering financial administration. But the Cherries beat fellow strugglers Luton today. Crewe the only other side in the bottom 6 to manage a point. And there's the situation in the League Two table. Leaders MK Dons continue their mid-season wobble, held at home by fellow promotion hopefuls Rotherham United. Darlington stays second with a 1-0 win over Barnet, but are now within 6 points of top spot. Hereford leapfrogged both Peterborough and Rotherham after their 4-1 win over Dagenham and Redbridge to move into the final automatic promotion spot. The bottom. Wrexham picked up a useful point away to Peterborough. Not enough to stop them slipping to the bottom of the Football League, though. Dagenham and Redbridge lose again. Their goal difference takes another dent with a 4-1 defeat. Mansfield recorded their 4th straight away win at Wycombe to move out of the relegation zone. And Bury also win. That's their first match with Alan Knill as manager. Now, Sunderland secured their 4th consecutive home win today. 2-0 home win over Wigan. Vital result too. There's the Sunderland manager, Roy Keane, talking to Steve Sutton.
Well, Roy, how important was that win for you today?
Well, only time will tell. We knew it was an important game, obviously, against a team, you know, battling with us near the bottom of the table. So it was a good victory, a very tough game. You know, credit to Wigan. They probably counted us as a little bit unlucky. But, you know, the second goal we got, I think, was worthy of winning any game, I have to say.
That was a terrific strike by Daryl Murphy, and the part that Andy Reid played in it shouldn't be underestimated either.
Yeah, in an ideal world, again, we wouldn't have liked Reid to be involved. You know, I don't think he's obviously fit yet. but we were short of numbers, and he came on, and again, that's what he'll give this team. You know, he's a very good passer of the ball, and we needed that particularly. We needed that second goal desperately because Wigan were putting us under immense pressure.
Yes, the woodwork came to rescue a couple of times early doors for the second half, didn't it?
But we sat to the second half. I think within the first minute they'd hit the post. Our keeper made a great save. We'd one cleared off the line. So, you know, you tell your teams to go out and try and be solid at the start of the second half. So again, it just goes to show. I don't think the players listen too much. But you know, we dug deep. Our goalkeeper was outstanding in the back four, and to keep a clean sheet was fantastic.
Sunderland 4 points above the relegation places. It was 2 at kick-off, so you can say that's a good day at the office.
Gentlemen? Craig Gordon was outstanding. It was a magnificent win. I know Bruce, you'll be rubbing his head, but if they continue that form, they'll stay up. And one thing they have got, they've got a never-say-die attitude from Roy Keane, and they got promoted last season with that same spirit.
What's humorous, Garth?
Well, when he talked about Andy Reid, it's going to be a hard week for Andy Reid. He made it quite clear he's not fit. So I hope you know Andy Reid knows what he's doing when he signed for Sunderland. And who knows, he could actually turn him into an athlete, and he's got all the credentials, Keane, to make him into a real top-class player. So if he can get that fitness side of his game right.
But the fact is, it was a great day at the office for them, wasn't it? They played their part in a great game and a vital 3 points, and the confidence builds.
Now, let's hear from the Birmingham manager, Alex McLeish.
Alex, you were denied 3 points late on last week against Derby. What was going through your mind when you conceded so early today?
Yeah, I thought another gift. It's definitely another gift, but it's a huge weapon that West Ham have with a long throw-in from George McCartney, I think it was, and Cole is such a big presence in the box, but he wins it far too easily. And I think the Lundberg's on the end of it, and he's run off somebody, so players, you know, are looking around for others to do it for them, and they've just got to take responsibility in there. And I thought, here we go again, another ridiculous goal, but we bounced back quickly. And I felt today there was a good feeling about it. I thought we could get the front men on the ball, and we did that in the first half. And you know, I'm pleased to get the point, but in another day we could have got more with a wee bit of luck.
You went behind for too long. You got the penalty. You'll accept everything that comes your way at the moment.
Well, I thought it was a clear penalty because McFadden dummied the fullback, got in behind, and it looks as if he's going to pull the trigger, and his jersey's been pulled. So it's a clear penalty, no doubt about it, and especially with the new rules and jersey pulling. And thankfully James stuck it away.
And Birmingham out of the relegation places on goal difference. No win in 8, but that's a battling point. And they started in the relegation places, they're out the relegation places, so that's decent.
They'll fight to the end as well, in a reflection of their manager as well, with the character that they've got in the team. And to be honest, West Ham came out, and I thought they outplayed them in the early stages, and somehow they found their way back in and hung in the second half. I think a bit of a talking point might be the sending off of Lee Bowyer, and maybe this fact of players are getting sent off now for tackles, which maybe on retrospect I've looked at it and I'm not so sure it should have been a red.
Do you think teams sometimes sort of reflect their manager? So Alex McLeish is going to be a real battler to try and keep them up.
Yeah, they certainly do, and he's wanted to bring his own players in. But apart from Derby, as I said today, all the teams at the bottom have showed that they're capable of maybe getting out of it.
What do you think, Garth, about Birmingham's chances?
They've worked very, very hard to nick points here and there, and they've kept their head above water. All credit to McLeish, and what you say is absolutely right. They reflect his character.
Thanks, guys. A quick reminder that here on BBC Two, the final of the Africa Cup of Nations between Cameroon and Egypt is set for tomorrow at 4:30. The final game of what's been a great tournament, the third playoff place, is underway as we speak via the red button. Just before we say goodbye to BBC Two viewers, also via the red button, our football service continues from now till 6 o'clock. Follow the links to stay with us here in the Final Score studio. We'll continue to discuss and debate today's football news. 10 start for Match of the Day. The Six Nations action over on BBC One right now, but this is where we close on BBC Two. Bye for now.